we got the scene in the credits, which obviously alludes to what we're going to see in the sequel, and it was Thanos, big cosmic Marvel baddie, the one of the biggest. I mean, there's Galactus and then there's Thanos. I think Joe, you said that yesterday, and I worded it. That was worded perfectly because it's exactly what it is. This is the guy that the entire Marvel universe teams up with when he starts, or teams up together to go fight when this guy starts causing trouble. He's that bad. Um, and yeah, so we get like a, I don't know, maybe like a 2 minute snippet that at the very end you see Thanos' face, and he's obviously looking towards Earth like he's got some devious plans in store. So we're gonna see it in the sequel. Do we see Thanos now? What I was wondering is, are we going to see Thanos Iron Man 3, possibly Thor sequel?
That
I mean, because
he's
we probably won't see
kinda
the next
doubting
Avengers
it.
for 2 to 3 years.
he's such a bad guy that is to be reckoned with in that universe that I can't see him doing anything in Iron Man 3. You might be able to sneak him into a Thor movie somewhere, because I think if you he's just too big for any one of these guys to deal with. And I think there's too much development they're going to have going on in these other movies to do anything with Thanos other than have him be a master manipulator behind the scenes still.
Yeah, they
And-
could make him like Nick Fury was in the past couple movies, like have him at the end of at teasers at the end of each of these new movies before they round him up again for the new Avengers.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
be the guy who's pulling strings for the bad guy in the actual movie. So instead of just having a weird, crazy Mickey Rourke doing his thing because he hates Tony Stark, have another grand villain being given. Thanos has given them some sort of cosmic powers or some shit like that, or promised them something if he kills Thor or something like that. I think that could work, but I doubt he's going to be a prominent bad guy in any of those.
See, I like that idea. I like the idea of just alluding to Thanos, keeping him behind the curtain until the next Avengers movie. But absolutely, tie him in some way. Don't just tease us with the end credit shots of the Avengers and then leave it till the next movie. I think that would kind of do a disservice to what Marvel has built so far and the interconnection that we've seen in these movies. What I'm hoping for as we move forward is more guest starring in each other's films, because the Marvel's universe in the actual comics is wildly connected. I mean, they love having guest stars in other people's books, and you might one month you might see Tony Stark show up in Captain America, and then the Hulk show up in Thor, or vice versa, and it is fantastic. It's great. I'd like to see that in the movies, and it doesn't have to be big. If it's done right, you could have these movies interconnected and become one big story arc, which is Whedon's bread and butter.
Right.
This guy is known
Marvels.
for season-long story arcs that networks hated. Absolutely hated. He got shit for it on Buffy, he got shit for it on Angel, he got shit for it on Serenity, and they just fucking straight out canceled Dollhouse. I mean, but this is why fans love him, because they love the overarching story and the build up to that final moment. And I think even though obviously he's not going to direct all the movies, I think he should definitely have some say on where these franchises go from here and how that interconnection would work.
It's almost like doing a new TV series almost. If all these movies are interconnected like that, it would he could be an executive producer role, kind of giving little notes where each one would go. I mean, personally, I'd love for him to go off and in between the new Avengers do something else that's been smaller, because he's in a great place right now to do kind of whatever the fuck he wants. But it'd be an interesting new way to think about movies, because there really hasn't been anything like that, like a network of films that big and that interconnected that I can think of.
Well, they've certainly laid that groundwork in their past movies. I mean, you saw it. I mean, Scarlett Johansson drops into Iron Man 2. You get some Hawkeye action in Thor. Little as it was, those little appearances, I think, lay a groundwork for what they want to do in the future, and that wouldn't surprise me if they want to bring in another Avenger at some point, drop him in another movie or start crisscrossing a little. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if a Hawkeye or a Scarlett Johansson or a Black Widow shows up in a Captain America 2 just because they should be there, because it would make a lot of sense. If Captain America's running around doing SHIELD missions, one of those two is probably going to be around at some point. It would just make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, and unfortunately, and this was the big thing that I was hoping for, was a Spider-Man appearance in the next Avengers or a future Marvel movie. But as I was informed yesterday, Sony is still ballsing up the rights to that franchise.
Oh, yeah.
So we're never going to see it, and that's depressing, and it makes me want to choke somebody. But just the thought of having those crossovers. I mean, okay, it won't be Spider-Man, but maybe Daredevil. You know, I mean, he's another New York-based hero. There is no reason why he shouldn't be showing up when the major attack's going down. And they're rebooting the franchise anyway. And you're absolutely right about Whedon, Dan. He knocked this out of the park. I don't think anybody could have done this good of a job with this large of a cast of stars, this many already developed characters from their own movies, and brought them together and made it a cohesive movie that wasn't just a slugfest to ridiculous dialogue to another slugfest. I mean, this movie actually felt very fluid and paced very well. I don't think anybody else besides Whedon could have done that. And he's got his pick. I mean, I'm sure he could probably get anything greenlit at this point.
Well, he's going to be the director of a movie that'll probably make $1 billion. I mean, we haven't touched on it yet in this podcast, but it's already broken like that opening 3-day weekend record, and it's just kicked its ass all over the place. It beat Harry Potter 2 by nice. $30 million. So it's on its way to being one of those. If it keeps up and keeps a slight consistency about its weekends, it could easily get over $1 billion, and then he gets to do whatever he wants.
Yeah, that is sick, and it opens the door for so many possibilities. I mean, at this point, I don't know. I mean, I know it's wishful thinking, but could we revisit Serenity possibly?
Can we?
You know, I mean,
if
you were ever going to do it, now would be the time. And I'm excited about, because he made Cabin in the Woods, ironically, kind of the week before, or not, I guess the month before this came out. So he went from making a small, cool indie movie to the opposite spectrum, making a giant blockbuster. And he did them both really well. So he could kind of just have his own empire, really.
Well, that was the thing about Cabin in the Woods, is that it used to be MGM's property, and they actually made that movie back in 2009. Yeah. It's been in the vault since MGM went bankrupt, and then they were like, oh, Whedon's got this Avengers movie coming out. Now we're going to whip this out and make some money off of it, which was brilliant by their part. But now he's got one hit for basically an indie budget, and then one giant smash blockbuster, gonna get near Avatar and Titanic kind of levels. Now he proves he can do whatever he wants now.
Yeah, so his clout is through the roof, and I wouldn't be entirely surprised if we saw a revival of something like Firefly. I can honestly see that happening.
That would be amazing, because he's always stated that he was very upset that was his one great regret, was that Firefly got canceled, and he was happy that he was able to kind of close up the story with Serenity. But the fact that I just have this feeling that I know that movie wasn't as big of a success as it should have been.
He would have wanted it to be.
Yeah, really kind of stuck in his craw, and I would love to see it. I think it would be great. I mean, whether we will or not, it's neither here nor there. It's just kind of wishful thinking at this point.
But he could, is the point.
Yeah, I'm sure that
if he wanted to.
I'm sure that he could probably walk into any studio and say, "Hey, I've got the rights. Let's do this," and they would be like, "Okay, yeah, yes, sir, Mr. $1 billion movie, Mr. Mega franchise."
Exactly.
So, okay, going on to the Avengers 2. I mean, we know we're going to see Thanos. The cast is all contracted up, correct? I mean, nobody's movies deal is up. They're all scheduled for the Avengers, because Downey Jr. is getting a little bit older.
I think I was trying to remember now. I don't know if he signed it. I haven't heard about him signing a new deal, but I think Robert Downey Jr. could technically be up on his contract after Iron Man 3. That's what I'm worried about. I think I remember him signing that 3-picture deal with that option for the big team blockbuster, because there was a lot of bluster early on about didn't sound like he was really on board eventually with the big idea of the big team movie, and I think they got him, and I think they have him now. But I'm pretty sure his contract might be up after Iron Man 3.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's iffy because knowing how cheap Marvel is,
right?
I don't. They would have to throw the money at him, right?
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
You can't sit there and try to lowball Robert Downey Jr. at this point, especially since he carried your billion-dollar movie open.
Right.
Then again, if he makes Avengers 2 and he wants out, Whedon could just kill the character, which he's very good at, and it could be a pretty good moment.
Yeah, that would be pretty amazing. But how do you replace? But then you're at that point your franchise takes a hit. Who do you replace Robert Downey Jr. with?
I guess the hope would be that
all.
I guess
you
the
said
hope
it, man.
Yeah.
Don Cheadle.
I mean, that's true.
Don Cheadle.
Don Cheadle. Bring him
Don
in.
Don Cheadle playing. You know what? My favorite Don Cheadle role ever was when he played Sammy Davis Jr. in the Rat Pack with Ray Liotta.
Yes.
I would just love to see
Sounds
Don
pretty
Cheadle
badass.
dancing around like War Machine, dancing around in the War Machine outfit.
Love it.
That would be fantastic. All right. Do we have any other thoughts on the Avengers? Did we miss anything? Are we talking? Do you guys want to talk about that one negative review we found?
I want to talk about Kobe Smulders as Maria Hill. I think she's fantastic.
God, what a name, Kobe Smulders.
It's the worst
That
name
chick
ever.
got
right?
she got what 5 minutes of screen time, and everybody's talking about her. I don't understand.
I just think
She's
she's
big
super
on a
hot. And we need to talk
sitcom.
about her.
Is
wanna
she?
say
I was
that I
like,
think
who
she
the hell
has-
is this broad?
I think she has the stupidest name in the world.
Yes.
That's really all I know about her. I know she's on the sitcom with Neil Patrick Harris, right?
Yeah, the How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah. And it's very
Yes.
popular. I mean, I don't know a lot about her. All I know is that she has a stupid name, and that's all I really need to know. That's all I would say about that.
I see. I didn't even realize the chick in the Avengers, that Maria Hill or whatever, Agent Hill, whatever you want to fucking call her. I didn't even realize that was the girl from How I Met Your Mother. I've seen How I Met Your Mother, and I hate that chick.
I've never seen that show in my life. I was just like, oh, Maria Hill. All right, I like the way you look. Let's do this.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
No, it weirded me out because I didn't realize that I didn't make the connection there, and everybody was making a big deal about this broad being in the movie. And I was like, I don't know who you're talking about. Who is this broad? She ain't famous. This could be Whedon's nephew nephew. This could be Whedon's niece for all I know.
She ain't nobody.
How do you
She
make
ain't
it
nobody.
in the entertainment industry with a name like Kobe Smulders?
It's
I'm reeling from this.
It's an awful, awful name.
We should have a podcast about this sometime, but that's later.
Do you think that's her original name? Because actors
How
change
could it
their
not
names
be?
all the time.
Who would change it to Kobe Smulders?
Maybe if her name
Maybe
was like
she's
Kobe
functioning
Smolderson.
retard. We don't know.
I had to ask this question of her.
I'm sorry, Joe.
I
I talked over you. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I was gonna say maybe her name was really Kobe Smolderson, and maybe she just shortened it. Maybe it's an even worse name than that.
Yeah, she was like, no, Smolderson is bad.
Right.
Let's just take the sun out,
Smulders.
and we're good. We're good.
Smulders.
We're famous.
Golden Kobe Smulders.
Star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame right now, Kobe Smulders.
And her
How I
poor
Met Your
kids.
Mother, Neil Patrick Harris. Famous. Kiss my ass. All right, but let's talk about the one bad review we found. There's actually been a couple, but this one stood out to me, and I kind of wanted to call this broad out because it really pissed me off. Okay, so what's this chick's name? Amy Nicholson of BoxOfficeMagazine.com. I thought she hadn't seen the movie before writing this review. Seriously. She calls the Avengers the Super Friends. She calls Nick
When?
Fury Nick Frost. What's that?
Oh, no, sorry, I'm just reading it. Go on.
Oh. And she's taking exception with how, there was no character development at all and all this other stuff. And it's just like, okay, you needed to watch the other movies. And she does have a point here. To really get everything out of the Avengers, you do need to see 4 or 5 other movies. Does anybody disagree with that?
No, I'm with her. Like the amount of character development we got we had in this movie was kind of hinged upon the fact that they had 4 or 5 movies of their own. Very few of them you could really step away from and not have to have seen it by the time you got here. Basically, the Hulk was the only one that kind of picked up and you could kind of be all right with.
And even then, you needed to know, like, the basics of the Hulk story. Like,
Right.
he turns into a giant green guy. I mean, I think context definitely helps. I want to because I didn't see all the other movies. I didn't see Captain America. I didn't see Iron Man 2, and I still understood everything that was going on. But it definitely helps to know something. So I think you can probably enjoy it without it.